objects filled all the firmament beneath them. They were 200 miles apart. It seemed that the huge platform overtook the shining ship. It did. They were only 50 miles apart and closing in. By that time, the twilight band of Earth's surface was nearly at the center of the planet, and night filled more than a quarter of its disk. By that time, too, even to the naked eye through the ports of the supply ship, the enemy rockets had become visible. They were a thin skein of threads of white vapor which seemed to unravel in nothingness. The vapor curled and expanded preposterously. It could just be seen to be jetting into existence from 4 separate points, 2 a little ahead of the others. They came out from Earth at a rate which seemed remarkably deliberate, until one saw with what fury the rocket fumes spat out to form the whitish threads. Then one could guess at a 3 or even 4-stage launching series, so that what appeared to be mere pinpoints would really be rockets carrying half-ton atomic warheads with an attained velocity of 10,000 miles per hour and more straight up. The threads unraveled in a straight line, aimed at the 2 metal things floating in emptiness. One was small and streamlined, with inadequate landing rockets clamped to its body, and with stubby fins that had no possible utility out of air. The other was large and clumsy to look at, but very, very stately indeed in its progress through the heavens. They floated smoothly toward a rendezvous. The rockets from Earth came ravening to destroy them at the instant of their intersection. The little spaceship turned slowly. Its rounded bow had pointed longingly at the stars. Now it tilted downward. Its direction of movement did not change, of course. In the absence of air, it could tumble indefinitely without any ill effect. It was in a trajectory instead of on a course, though presently the trajectory would become an orbit. But it pointed nose down toward the Earth even as it continued to hurtle onward. The great steel hull and the small spaceship were 20 miles apart. An infinitesimal radar bowl moved on the little ship. Tight beam waves flickered invisibly between the 2 craft. The rockets raged toward them. The ship and the platform were 10 miles apart. The rockets were now glinting missiles leaping ahead of the fumes that propelled them. The ship and the platform were 2 miles apart. The rockets rushed upward. There were minute corrections in their courses. They converged. Flames leaped from the tiny ship. Its landing rockets spouted white-hot flame and fumes more thick and coiling than even the smoke of the bombs. The little ship surged momentarily toward the racing monsters. And then the rockets, which were supposed to let the ship down to Earth, flew free, flung themselves unburdened at the rockets which came with deadly intent to the meeting of the 2 Earth spacecraft. The landing rockets plunged down at 40 gravities or better. They were a dwindling group of infinitely bright sparks which seemed to group themselves more closely as they dwindled. They charged upon the attacking robot things. They were unguided of necessity, but the robot bombs had to be equipped with proximity fuses. No remote control could be so accurate as to determine the best moment for detonation at 4,000 miles distance. So the war rockets had to be devised to explode when near anything which reflected their probing radar waves. They had to be designed to be triggered by anything in space. And the loosed landing rockets plunged among them. They did not detonate all at once. That was mathematically impossible. But no human eye could detect the delay. 4 close-packed flares of pure atomic fire sprang into being between the platform and Earth. Each was brighter than the sun. For the fraction of an instant there was no night where night had fallen on Earth. For thousands of miles the Earth glowed brightly. Then there was a twisting, coiling tumult of incandescent gases which were snatched away by nothingness and ceased to be. Then there were just 2 things remaining in the void. One was the great, clumsy, shining platform, gigantic in size to anything close by. The other was the small spaceship which had climbed to it and fought for it and defended it against the bombs from Earth. The little ship now had a slight motion away from the platform, due to the instant's tugging by its rockets before they were released. It turned about in emptiness. Its steering rockets spouted smoke. It began to cancel out its velocity away from the platform and to swim slowly and very carefully toward it. End of Chapter 2.